Max Stats episode 51. I'm actually going to go deeper into the idea that you cannot trust anyone. Not right now. And when I say this, it is inflammatory statement. You can't just exclude 99% or even 100% of everyone and never trust anyone with anything. You have to rebuild trust using the definition of trust. And I thought about it, it's like it could be a fireproof episode, it could be domination episode. These are kind of like interesting branches to go into. So the fireproofing and domination. But most importantly, if you trust other people, then potentially they have given you something valuable. That's the whole point, is to acquire valuable things that will establish trust. Trust comes from value. Or let's say the source is value. The funny thing is, we have to bring one person on the table right now. My boy Jesus is gonna go to the table. I mean, it's like an old school celebrity, but like Taylor Swift level celebrity, you know? That you can build a whole religion around it that just doesn't seem to die anymore. Shouldn't we have more people like Jesus though? Just like more celebrities, or have we never had the ability to build that? We technically had like Queen Elizabeth, right? That's something. Popes who have no names. Jesus survived somehow. But the funny thing is, I mean, even through images, Jesus can still gain the farm aura, basically, or deliver value to people somehow. But there's even more valuable stuff, right? Like knowledge and trustworthiness of a person to be able to spread a lot of knowledge and a lot of advices and unshackle people's damaged minds and all that shit. That's level of Jesus as well, I feel like. That's level of enlightenment that people will need. People will need a religion that heals them. People need to at least trust one person, but a person that can be trusted by like tons and tons of people, you know? And technically, I hope a lot of people are trying to be that person. I'm trying to be that person, but if I can't trust anyone, then did I win? Is that a competition? Who's gonna be the next Jesus? I can't trust anyone. See, the trust and values built upon interactions first and foremost of people who are capable of watching a video, finding a video. Now, I can't find anyone like myself, but I'm searching, I'm doing my best. You see, I'm putting myself even on the path of like a passive search of people like this. And I still can't find it anywhere on social media. No one exists like me. And yet I'm the only one spitting uh ideas about possible competition. Like, if Jesus existed, what's stopping it from existing? You know? Again. Like, nothing's stopping. I hope only narcissists gonna be like, I don't like that. Well, the funny thing is, people will label others as Jesus on their own terms. So, it's a thing. It's still a thing, bro. Yeah. Technically, there is one competitor, a friend that I have abandoned because I don't trust them anymore. So if I can't trust them, they're probably losing the game because you probably want to be trusted if you want to actually label yourself as Jesus without a goddamn regret. But again, it comes from like giving people value. And the real question It's a mathematical question of how thin can you spread yourself in all directions. How can you spread your value across the world, right? And right now, using the internet, that is more possible. Like, technically, it could be like a slow spread. It doesn't have to be fast. That's the funny thing. Religion must grow slowly because we're establishing trust. We're establishing something way more important. So if it slowly spreads, but spreads across the entire world because it has the capacity to, right? It's easy to, gain people's trust and then lose people's trust. That shit's easy. What is difficult is to actually maintain it. Is to actually truly grow and give people around you what they need to survive, to be strong. Even if Mr. Beast gave money to everyone, even if he spread himself thin, that doesn't. He would just be helping his own comrades basically the most, and that's what he's doing. Right? In the end, the Mr. Beast religion stays within Mr. Beast confines, right? And the lucky people who get to be in those confines, but everyone else gets to just observe, just, hey, that guy got money. Okay, after doing this and that. And we're going to discuss this very interesting fireproof episode yet to happen about Mr. Beast giving money to people. See, in the end, we just have a fucking business, basically. A Mr. B business. What does that mean? If you're not employed in the Mr. Beast business, you're not getting paid a big salary, like very good salary, and you don't have a chances to climb upstairs to the point where you can be a part of a competition or be a celebrity within Mr. Beast confounds. Like, come on. It's I think it's confines though. I think, yeah, it's borders, boundaries, like the red circle thing. Mr. Beast gets to decide where the red circle is. If you're not a part of his gang, if you're not a part of this red circle, and somehow, like, this red circle just gains this, like, life that we've never seen before, you know? If you're not a part of Mr. Beast religion, which is, like, very difficult to be, you're not going to benefit much whatsoever. You're just going to be a passive viewer that potentially still gains value out of the content that everyone sees, and you're just going to be a fan like the rest of the fans. But you, as a Mr. Beast fan, you can't defend Mr. Beast because there's so many of you. You are nobody at the same time. You make no difference in the game. So yeah, potentially Mr. Beast needed to know that he's fighting the rest of the world. Putting pressure on himself. So yeah, if we're doing this math problem, we need to figure out what is the best way to spread your influence, your value onto other people. And to me, it was always just giving advice, like, why not? And everyone is on TikTok. This the newest, coolest thing is to give advice because now finally people are being discovered. So technically, I'm not special, but that doesn't mean that this translates 1-to-1 ratio on YouTube as it goes on TikTok. If on TikTok you can shitpost like I'm shitposting on YouTube, it does not translate to 1-to-1 ratio. Shitposting on TikTok is fucking easy, bro. But we're talking about, like, actually taking your hand and dragging you through an hour of intense training. Intense training to make sure you trust me. There is no script. Whatever is happening is technically happening live to me and essentially live to you as you watch the video, because we're both discovering completely new things that no one else is discovering right now. This is fucking cutting edge mind virus, bro. Whatever ideas I will put together, I have the power of computers. I have the power of, logical problems being solved, like the latest and the best, right? Chess has survived, Sudoku has survived, I have found some puzzles, I have found programming. We're talking about the latest and the greatest, and you cannot possibly compare me to someone from 20 years ago. That's not the same power level, my friends. We have to always find someone we can trust with the most important thing. Cutting edge thinking or cutting edge mindset. You have to have one of these people because that is the person that will push you the most forward, right? That's the person that will give you the maximum stats faster, you know? Will boost your stats a lot faster than you would normally do on your own terms, right? So you need people like that. You need people you can trust. This is why it is Max Stats episode. Yes, you would grow in power. That's what Mr. Beast does. You know, he has people he can trust after he pays them first, you know. It's a very contractual type of trust. Money gives power, so Mr. Beast hands over a little bit of power to the people around him to make sure he can trust them, basically. You saw what happens when one employee just, like, bounces off, and it's like, me not like you, Mr. Beastie. One employee can make a whole month worth of drama, basically. It is very likely that this structure is not exactly stable, but there's like tons of structures like that, right? Like, we should be able to predict what can possibly happen, but that was pretty weird. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's talk about the two branches of what it's like to talk about trust in terms of the fireproofing, right? And domination. Domination series is mainly to dominate the audience. Anyone who is silent and anyone who is not contributing whatsoever, well, you are a consumer. Can I trust you? No. You haven't tried to prove that you're trustworthy whatsoever. Again, to be trustworthy means that you project some kind of value. Some kind of string is available for me to pull and extract value from you. Even it's a little bit of value, but you have to also spread yourself thin so the threads I can keep on tangling forever, basically. If I so choose, if I want to grab value from you, I can slowly grab onto this thread. If you don't provide me with a thread, you cannot be trusted. That's it. That's the definition of trust. What's the definition of trust, my friends? What is the known definition of trust? Confident belief in reliability, integrity, or ability of person thing, enabling reliance or dependence. Now, shit just got complicated, right? So why would a simple string be able to define trust? That I can just grab onto a string and have conversation with you, and you're not just being a douchebag, basically. You're not just destroying the most important aspect, which is the conversation we're having, you know? So the next thing you would hear from me is, this conversation is very important. If you fail this conversation, our trust is broken. What are we gonna do? People can be decided based on that factor. Now, when it comes to things being trusted, it's very similar. It's very similar. If you sit on a chair, that doesn't mean you trust the chair, because the chair has to last a certain amount of time. And the chair has to hold a certain amount of weight. So if the chair suddenly, after 2 days of using, falls apart, you cannot trust the chair anymore. That's the point. The chair has failed. So a human being must not fail the connection. All right, the valuable connection. He must not fail that. And most importantly, of course, it must remain positive connection overall. That's something you can only feel unless you really calculate that shit. It has to remain positive. But the most trustworthy person is going to give you just a string for you to follow. And a really trustworthy person would be able to come back to it. You know? Would throw you a string of like, hey, do you miss me? You know? That does not happen in reality right now. There's no such thing, do you miss me, bro? What? People don't even fucking start the trust journey, basically, the shipping. They don't even start. They don't even know how to start. They're just looking, just gold digging, basically. They're gonna offer to a rich person. They're not gonna offer to a random person. And if you don't offer something to a random person, you are just doing your thing. You're just fishing, basically. You're just looking for something, basically. You're just looking in your room for something that you have lost, basically. And I'm like, I guess you don't miss me because you're busy searching for something in your fucking room. You lost $100 in your room. Now you're just gonna look around, basically, under your pillow, under this thing and that thing, inside your drawers. There's this $100, bro. You have lost $100, and now you're gonna fucking waste the entire day looking for it. When in reality, because people are looking for things, they are destroying the strings that hold them together with other people. It's absolutely impossible to hold more than like 100 strings, you know, to your close friends. But if you don't do it, well, things might start falling apart. So, besides advice that could be arbitrary and people might feel that advice can be given by anyone, I have to also spread something, you know, unique. And something that is very difficult, something that requires a lot of skill to spread. And potentially, I'm already doing it. It's just people can't handle the pressure, you know, because they cannot do the same thing as I'm doing. It is now two times on my Discord, I had a conversation with someone. They come back 2 years later, with a problem because they know they can trust me. They come with a problem, and I try my best to give them advice and whatnot that they shouldn't be having this problem. Telling them, right? But at the same time, I am disappointed in my head of like, why did you wait 2 years for your life to change dramatically, and now you're looking for people who you can trust? And unfortunately, I confirm that they can trust me, and it's not that great, unfortunately. I don't know when they will come back, but it is what it is. It's now 2 times a person gets sick, something bad happens to them, and they come to me. And it's like, cool. It's correct move. I'm not really that helpful, but okay. It's a big deal when, you know, people trust you. Because when something bad happens to them, they will not come to go running after their enemies, basically. No, they want to relax. They want to heal. They want to have hope that something is good gonna happen in the future. That someone can change their mind, that whatever they're suffering from is just temporary and they can overcome the problem. It is the greatest mystery of them all, of like, okay, when you reach 18, that's quite like maturity and you can do many things, but why can't you just live a good life? How how old do you have to get to start living a good life? At least by yourself. And the answer in capitalism, They will never let you live a good life. The narcissist will never let you live a good life. The only thing you can upgrade under capitalism is your enemies. So open your eyes and notice, have your enemies switched to something stronger and more complicated and more difficult to overcome? And also double check who is attacking you and how often. If you can upgrade your enemies, you will and focus on the enemies, you will understand of why there is no age limit of how long you have to upgrade yourself, because the enemies are also growing. Potentially numbers in age, they're still keeping up, basically. It's like Naruto and Sasuke. Basically a never-ending battle, but eventually, after a long-ass series, it did end, you know. It did end, and it seems like one side actually won over the other. Or just friendship wins, but one side was for the hell of the friendship, you know. So it's the same thing. Your enemy becomes stronger. That's why you're not living a good life. And people who don't have enemies and do live a good life, potentially they just inherited that sort of lifestyle. It was given to them. Also, potentially they will never reach anything higher than that in their lives. They got what good life has to offer. And in the end, you can also ask yourself who you're going to trust, a person who has been through a lot of battles and a lot of stories to tell. Basically, you can keep up communicating with you no matter how much shit you have been through. He can still relate because he has been through shit as well. It's in the end the ultimate battle of trusting a poor person versus a rich person. And unfortunately, poor person does not win this. But rich person cannot just be rich in the terms of money. When you're building a religion, someone has to be rich. That one person has to win the place of Jesus, the most trustworthy person. Yeah, rich in brain cells, rich in patience, rich in actual moral values. And of course, there's more than money when it comes to moral values. That's just the simple math in the end. You can't just have one moral value of like you acquired a lot of power. Okay, we get it. You have a lot of power. Are you going to share? Otherwise, conversation is over immediately unless you want to trade power in some kind of fashion. And because narcissists sometimes want to trade power and employ you basically for the sake of you getting a little bit of power in return, you know, they will employ you. All right, go to work, waste your time. And that's the whole point. Rich people want to waste your time. Rich people want to make themselves your religion. Money has to become your religion. You must trust the money to be the moral value that you're trying to chase for many hours. And it turned into, you know, like a slavery situationship because we're not getting enough. We want more and more. And only when we fucking stop, when we have ability to stop this machine of exploitation, can we, you know, start building actual moral values which don't start to fucking decay right now. They're literally decaying. And those moral values are the key to self-improvement as well. I think the most common thing you're gonna get from moral values is more time and less stress, right? I think those like the most common factors. So, it actually is incredibly important to figure out like your moral status with the world. I technically gain enough money, but in such a weird way. Like for me, I still consider welfare weird. What is that? I'm doing nothing and I'm still getting money, but at the same time I do acknowledge the world fucking sucks. Doing nothing is a good thing to do. You know, you don't want to destroy things. So doing nothing can still be better than most things people tend to do. The only question is that I became more moral. And more moral, that means like there's less drama in my life, maybe, right? And there's like more people I'm interacting with and more people like me. I don't know. There's no big difference happening in a way. However, I do feel the difference between like last 3 years maybe of like my stress going down essentially. Yeah, technically it makes sense. Like I still have to do some repetitive tasks, still have to go through a lot of stuff. And again, if I feel like I'm doing something wrong, that's gonna haunt me. All right, I'm a normal person, so immoral thing is gonna haunt me. So yeah, your brain can be hijacked. You can be told that rich people have all the moral values and you should chase after rich people. People who have things. But by any means, if you just chase dollars, you will end up not in the moral center by any means. You end up somewhere else. You end up overshooting for some reason. So is it somewhere in between of poor and rich person? I think so. I think so. Like, even one TikTok comes to mind of like just a musician comes in the middle of the street, puts down his guitar case, and it's like, all right, let's see how much we can get in 30 minutes. And Broski got 72 euro uh, check basically in 30 minutes from people just liking his music. And it's like, that makes no fucking sense. That's the highest salary ever. 140 euros an hour? What are you talking about? If a musician can get a salary like this, if a celebrity can get a salary like this, like most people are inefficient. They're following a poor lifestyle. There are better paths to follow, of course. That's kind of normal. But at the same time, how would you find shit like this? I still can't trust or justify the existence of this. And even though I can try and do that, disagree basically, but it's gonna be attractive to a lot of people now that you have attracted the audience and audience paid you, and now you're gonna attract people who like you. And technically, there are some moral values of entertaining the audience. Absolutely. Of being in a specific place where you can become rich just because you are a musician for relatively loose change, you know? Like, that is so interesting to me, though. The existence of jobs and, like, women. It's interesting, you know? It's the fucking unicorns in the wasteland that I fucking live. Like, to me, like, everything that would symbolize, like, a functioning society is a unicorn moment. If I can be employed, if I can get a friend, if I can get a girlfriend, holy shit, that's life changing, guys. So of course it is unusual for me to see anyone earn any amount of money. It's unusual for the internet to see that. And yet that's the simple path of diva of trying to get that easy money because it's available, potentially available at any time. It is also hard to deny that art has moral value, in a sense. That we're sort of like now following the middle path because you still have to provide significant amount of uh, talent in exchange, in this like great exchange. Like you have to be vulnerable. The funny thing is, I can't even trust my own environment, my own town, to just leave me alone. Right now, there's some kind of fucking celebration. It happens once a year, because the next thing happening is school year. Now, it's probably not just one day, it's potentially 2 days, but man, is it fucking loud. It's louder than anything else, ever. And it's so fucking demonic, too, in that sense. Of like, why in the middle of the night? Why do you feel like that's appropriate right now? Why is it so special to start a fucking school year like this? But again, the reason why you can't trust most things is because of the simple thing. A lot of immoral things are still legal. Just like you can just pay your way out of a crime. Poor people, when they do crime, they have to serve in jail. Rich people, when they do the crime, they have to go back to work after paying a little bit of extra tax. It's quite a different treatment. But just because the government treats you as a more moral person doesn't mean that you are. You're still following a strict path, which is a diva path, by the way. It's just diva path can go this way or this way. You either gonna enrich yourself with money, right, with the bling bling, or you're gonna enrich yourself with values of and morality of the world. Technically, maybe I've done that. I have followed the path of diva just a little bit because I had to enter it in the first place. Right? We can bring back the self-improvement matrix. Diva path is the second one. And in order to enter the diva path, or rather to go through all the paths, you have to, well, learn something about it. You have to learn the fundamentals about it, and you have to master it at the same time, master the basics. So mastering the diva path is that you can do this, you can earn a lot of money, but it's best to choose not to. You can earn a lot of money being a celebrity. You can earn a lot of money by building something important like a very important game. And people think gaming market is like very competitive. I think gaming markets simply eliminates those who don't work every day. If you work every day on your game and you know all the principles of what the game is supposed to be made out of, and you follow the best examples of people who have succeeded to make a game, the reality is the games that are successful, they're just barely functioning in the first place. If you work every day, you will make a game. I think, even though Reynad's game fucking sucks, he still has proven that simple thing. Oh wait, he used to be a celebrity. Okay, never mind. You still need to work every day and actually, like rock climbing, you have to switch a few things that you do or potentially focus on a project so much harder. But yeah, to me, the biggest thing is like, what about the marketing though? Where do you get the marketing? Well, the marketing comes from just like you being the best. If you're the best, you will market yourself. It's just that's how it goes. And Diva can transition from being a well-designed personality into a well-designed like environment or experience. So it it is very interchangeable, so it's not supposed to be surprising that Reynad was able to do it, that I am building a personality that's, competitive in social worlds. None of these things supposed to be surprising, but I moved on. I'm technically still here, and I'm mastering the path that is simple, right? But some might call me a simp. No, I'm not a fucking simp. I just like women because I'm a man. That's how it is simple. How more simple can you get? And this is where I get really fucking outraged of like people don't actually care about simple things, which destroy them. If I tell you something simple, something very acceptable, and you say if you try to deny something simple, you lose the argument. And I started to realize I'm winning every argument. I'm in the middle of the internet, as exposed as I can be, and I'm winning every single argument. Why is that? Because I retain simplicity, right? By being simple, now you're winning all the NPC drama that can possibly exist until it simplifies to this level, right? Until it cools down. It has to cool down, first of all. It has to, calm down. When it's too hot, people can be a little bit more arrogant towards me and can put me in a little bit of a heated situation. But I know any drama that calms down to a zero, to like it happened, but it's not happening anymore. I know I can win that drama. And just by knowing that I can win that drama, that I'm strong enough to do that I can simplify everything, I can finally participate in events that I usually wouldn't give a fuck about. But the only question in mind is like, do I follow the simple path or do I upgrade the path again? Because it might not be serving me whatsoever, right? And I have to recognize if I can trust the thing that I'm doing, if it's working out or not. That's again another story to follow. There's doctors, there's teachers. Let's touch this really quickly. Why can't you just trust authorities? Why can't you just trust the experts? Most of the time, the experts, they love to spread, And usually they don't spread advice. Advice is too nice. They spread orders. They spread the change of the world. If Earth is round suddenly, that you cannot trust the flat Earth. Why? Why can I trust as many people as I want? Because scientist has laughed at flat Earth. Because scientist has silenced flat Earth and censored basically flat Earth. Science is supreme. But instead of proving the shape of the Earth, you have just attacked flat Earth successfully. That's not actually that big of a deal. Everyone can just pull out censorship out of their ass if they have enough power. You can see that power is not just doesn't make you rich. Power is potentially an expense in terms of morality. But same goes with doctors. Like, you would go to a doctor when you're sick. So never go to a doctor. Never admit to yourself that you're sick. You'll be fine. Unless you lose a fucking leg, then you can't admit it because your eyes can see it every day. You can feel it every day that you're sick. And you know for a fact that you're going to be sick for a long time. It's time to go for a doctor and flex your broken leg or something. Unless something major happens in your life, you don't need a fucking doctor. Doctor can only mess you up, can only make things worse. Whether it's a dentist, a teacher, they can only make things worse. Authorities they want you to consent to authorities because only then they know what to do. All right? This is how authorities function. And again, I'm giving you something extremely simple You better understand what's going on. So you are here. There's an institution with windows in it's a building that you go into and it does paperwork. And what do you do? What do you have to do? You have to enter that building. They will not come to you. No, 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 no. They will not come to you. You must come to them. You must consent. But what about the businesses? You have to consent to get work as well. Technically, yeah, they're the authority of money. But the authority of money exists in so many places that it's technically not a big deal to go knock on their doors. You know, in some places, it's completely normal. You go seek for a job and you'll find it. And that still doesn't mean that you consented because you might not work hard enough. You know, they have to extract so much consent that it becomes like a daily routine to like, are you gonna show up at work today? Are you gonna show up at work tomorrow? It's a routine. But for the authorities, they just need you to show up once in a blue moon. Whenever they get to dance like clowns around you of like, ooga booga, you chose to be, transported into Mars dimension. Let me dance around you for 2 hours for $50. Let's fucking go, bro. You have to consent. You have to give them whatever they fucking want, but most importantly, you have to come to them. Right? And yes, it's very much resembling the school system. You have to come to the school as well. You have to dress a specific way. These are like authorities mixed with uh, the job market, but mostly it resembles capitalism. Authority is a little bit different. You actually have to know what the authority is gonna do, and you need to ask them to do that thing. You don't go into a classroom and ask teacher to teach. You have to sit down with your entire class and receive a lesson. You don't just come into someone's office uh, with a class anymore. You have to do it on your own. That's what make it less than a school. And school is more like a work environment rather than chasing authority. So now that you go to the authority to trust them, basically, they need to know that you trust them. Well, it's a game now. The doors are closed. They can say whatever they want. You can say whatever they want. I mean, whatever you want. And it's a fucking battle. You can't take this lightly. There's no easy way out. They will try to extract more consent. They will try to impress you with their magical dancing routine. The authority doesn't want to get dirty and get in trouble. Unless, you know, they have no choice. They have to do their job. It's like, okay, I guess this guy's getting in trouble now. And again, even if you have like an aching tooth, authority can come in and just smack you in the face, basically. And that's dentistry for you. Just smack you in the face. Your body is capable of healing. You don't need no doctors. You don't need no dentist. What are you doing? You're gonna only go to the doctor when you have damaged your body so fucking much that now you can't even trust yourself anymore. And that's the point. You are only gonna go to authorities when you cannot trust yourself. That's how simple it is. And when you cannot be trusted by society, then you go to jail. You cannot be trusted. You stealing things. You punching people. Not good. You're not restraining yourself. You're doing a lot of crazy shit. Not good. We have to put you in four-wall thingy. And the authority has to watch over you. The final boss. Jail. And still, all the way to jail, you have to consent so many times and still go through the court process of like you're really consenting in being degenerate. And you don't have a good lawyer, you don't understand the situation. Bam slam. They give you a lot of chances, authorities. That's their thing. But if you keep consenting, they will grab you, they will snatch you, bro. They will human traffic you out of here. If you trust whatever the fuck they tell you, and it's even worse when you project authority onto someone that they potentially one day can become the authority. Your projection creates reality. Whether it's Mr. Beast or Penguin, the YouTubers are trying to gain your trust right now. It is the game of trust that is beginning on this platform, if you haven't fucking noticed. So eventually you're gonna have authorities on YouTube. Again, we have lawyers, we have doctors fighting for these positions on this platform. Fuck, it really sounds like a domination episode, though. Like, everything sounds like domination. How do I escape? Can I even do that? Like, I understand max stats. There's a lot of max stats within morality, and boosting your morality is crazy good. The greatest thing about morality is that you will be no longer attracted to bad things. No one's gonna convince you of doing bad things and damaging yourself. Basically, you're future-proofing yourself and staying away from, like, major fights, major drama in your life. That's important. Morality is absolutely important to your integrity. So that is a stat. We just discovered a max stat. And I think that holds things together because, yes, I could dominate easily. I could dominate my audience talking about all these fucking influencers. Do you trust this person? Do you trust another person to give you this and that, right? The funny thing is, the story's not over yet. If you trust someone, they become established. Only through people's trust can you build an establishment. The authorities also have something like insurance. Like, they have so many things that they can sell to you, but it's not just that. They don't want to just sell you things. They secretly want to have power over you. They want your dependency. Here, I'm on a path. So dependency is more of just a simulation. It's not actually a real thing. I can still just cut the strings and run away to a fucking jungle, basically. You're not gonna find me. Yeah. I'm just 2 letters away from Temple. Temple Run. That's what I'm talking about. That's fucking good. It's good shit. And then we're in the gods phase. So it's a very similar thing to just like things working. But in this case, it's not just chairs, it's people as well. People also have to work in your favor. And it's still not about chairs. Chairs simply represents a business. You will just buy a chair from somewhere else. It's not like one chair breaking breaks every chair. You will buy a different type of chair. And yes, you will find that in a world where you want to build trust with people, you'll find that you start with a conversation and you immediately will eliminate things like Tinder. You will eliminate friends that don't talk to you. You know, where you have to put a lot of efforts into making a conversation happen. You have to confront them that, you're not comfortable anymore putting all this effort. And just whatever happens, happens. You're not supposed to control the outcomes that happen. It's not going to be bad to you. You just gain more time. And you have less stress dealing with shitty people. You must accept this as a reward for being moral. That's the whole point. Disconnecting from bad people is always a good thing. There's a reason why breakups are a thing. You must evaluate that it's natural. To often be isolated because people cannot retain that simple connection. It's supposed to be simple. It's not as simple as subscribing to my channel, unfortunately. You have to subscribe every single year. Then we would know who is the actual person trying to maintain this connection. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have a number and it will tell me nothing. Technically, there's more numbers, there's viewership numbers, and those are more juicy. You can tell that not a lot of people are actually subscribed to my content in terms of what subscription really means. We're talking about less than 10%. We're talking about basically nobody. Because even the viewership tells me nothing, because the viewership can still be translated into who actually watched 10 minutes of content. That's the real question. Who actually did it? And if I cannot trust nobody, it is what it is. I know I can trust myself. I'm not going to be, just through exclusion alone, defeated somehow. We're going into the future. There's so many cool things to happen, but without trust, you can't have that magical thing called AI. You're just not going to have it unless you trust each other, my friends. And that's the game we're gonna play. Then I'm gonna be the boss. While right now, you're just destroying everything around you just for the sake of fucking dollar signs. Alright? In your pockets. You will have to eventually realize that you need to increase your moral values. You can't just chase dollars anymore. Because very likely the game is simply gonna change. And what are you gonna do then? Yeah, I would call it like a quantified morality, but it's not guaranteed to work for everyone. And especially it's not gonna be guaranteed to work for smart people. Because smart people would actually start finding moral values outside of earning money. That's the whole point of why it doesn't work for smart people. Why smart people eventually stop playing the money game. Why they're not interested eventually. And I know for a fact if I want to be trusted by smart people, I must never stop. Whatever I'm doing, I have to push myself every fucking day. If I can trust myself every single day, then at least a version of me is trustworthy. And it's worth listening to and caring about. I might not be an expert in anything specific for your liking and choosing and whatever, but don't write me off. Just because I failed one time, I might come back twice as strong for that particular research topic, because I have general knowledge. General knowledge allows you to solve any problem. In the end, just like money is simply an enhancement, your moral enhancement to gain time and reduce stress because you can, buy beer. Even buying beer to a narcissist is a reduction of stress, and you can buy time just by recognizing that you have enough money. It's time to go to a vacation or something, Even the lowest level scums people know that money is moral value to them. It can buy time and reduce stress. But of course, this battle does not end there. There's many moral values. But again, it's a simple version for narcissists to understand. Just collect number, and number will set you free. It's gonna change. The game is gonna change to where you have to solve problems, and then they will set you free. The solutions will set you free. And most importantly, AI can only enhance your ability to finish the job. It can get you started faster. That's what makes me so much more powerful under AI. 8 times more powerful, by the way. Just 8 times, a little boost in power. AI allows me to get a kickstart on solving a problem, because if you're not kickstarted, you're gonna be in a very, let's call it rusty position. You're going to be using old tools, old mindsets. You will have to build everything yourself like that. You have to skip these things. You have to skip the building your own tools thing. You have to be able to have something you trust that brings you up to speed. AI is basically an enhanced education on the go. Whenever you need education, you can just grab it. That's technically why libraries became a thing, and then schools became a thing because of the libraries. You know, we will build new schools because of the AI technology. But library used to be the 100-year-old way of gathering knowledge. You go to the library to pick up books. Technically, this already got knocked out by the internet, but sure. I don't know what to say to that, to be honest. Yeah, it did got knocked out, didn't it? Like, the moment YouTube became a little bit educational is the moment they destroyed libraries. So it's already has been happening. I don't know then. But this is like the final blow, I guess, to a war that has been going on, right? We have destroyed books. We have finished that. It's game over now. People can feel it's a game over. We just haven't built libraries about this thing. You technically can't trust AI with everything, with every single problem, but it's pretty close now. The moment I can make music, I mean, that's just game over, right? We can also say that influencer age has been lasting like 16 years when we realized that, yeah, we're gonna make this big change to no longer read books. For fuck's sake, man. I would never trust anyone who reads books because they don't seem to know better. So yeah, you might be cutting off the connection with people who don't use the latest tools, who have rejected the latest tools. You will trust these people less. There's so much time you can learn just building together the logic gates and logic matrices like these, to the point like, why would you waste time reading books? You're very low level, aren't you? But in most cases, unfortunately, only celebrities get to brag about reading books. Nobody else even talks about this shit, right? Every youngster's talking about the latest anime they watched. So it's not even that deep anymore. But the idea of reading books is dying at this point. Like, you just because you read books, the people will not treat you as you're a smart person. That's not how it works anymore. Yeah, the only thing missing for AI to become a library is for AI to point a finger of like, watch this video. Basically just simply boosting the algorithms that already exist with their own search algorithm. When you search for information, you just find a bunch of references and find like a course of videos to watch. Because in the end, the most important thing is to find people you can trust. Find people who hold knowledge and are willing to share the knowledge and are willing to give you that string. Because just by subscribing to someone's content, whoever is providing intellectual content, just by subscribing and watching their videos, their string of thought unravels, slowly over many months, basically. You get to know them better, it's cool, but you also still have to cross your fingers and hope they will not fall off, that they will not become the bad guy. They will not just destroy their channel. I still see it as a form of trust when people don't even watch my videos, you know. But maybe it's delusional. I mean, I want people to watch, I want people to interact, I want people to actually build the real version of trust and not just like, oh, you're fine without me type of trust. Like, come on, man. But yeah, there's a lot of people delivering knowledge. I try to compile them in like TikTok compilation. Your max stats will improve when you follow smart people. It's simple as that. Because you trust them to tell to you something important that you can learn. It's really good stuff. But you always have to catch yourself of like, are you actually learning anything? Or is it now starting to become a waste of time? Because this cannot last forever. Unfortunately, the subscription level trust cannot last forever. And this is something that I'm trying to be a spreader of. They're just the infinite light, infinite awareness. I want to build that shit. I want to challenge myself for this like Jesus level achievement. Because again, I have to be trusted on a platform. It's a whole different level of trust. Like, okay, your trusty friends, your trusty entertainer. Entertainer can create more content that sounds the same way. But an educator has to go a whole step forward and actually constantly be in a constant level of producing material that makes you smarter, that helps you learn new things, helps you make discoveries. And that shit is a whole different level, bro, of difficulty. And yet, it's still the difficulty of simple. If we are solving simple puzzles, and we're all in this together, of ignoring me, actually. We're all in this together to ignore me because, wow, the problems I'm solving are so simple, guys. And I'm doing it in such a simple way that it's not even entertaining. Okay. Well, at least you can't deny that I am doing my job. A job that most people wouldn't be able to do. And YouTube channels like these don't really exist. I mean, tell me. Tell me something that still educates you forever. Because the simplest thing of how you can achieve the infinite education is simply by continuing to learn new things yourself as well. And all I have to do is just share what I'm learning. But then how do I constantly learn new things myself? And that's where the ultimate form of trust happens of like, trust me, it is just happening. Okay? Whatever is happening is happening. I'm consuming just enough information to improve myself and regurgitate some of it in a much in a form that is like my universe, my way of thought. And now there's no more questions. How? How do I consume content? How do I learn new things? All of that is explained. Stupid are the ones who find a niche in terms of education. You are pathetic human beings if you found your niche. I hope you eat bugs one day. You know, it's like, oh my god, bugs! Don't kill these! I want to eat them! Of course! I love it. I love it. That should be everyone's niche of eating bugs. For the real education is about everything, the understanding of everything, and the most fundamental piece of just like understanding how to improve yourself with the knowledge in hand. Of like, okay, I'm staring at Ladybug, how am I supposed to improve myself now? Eventually, every educator will run out of things to talk about, and they then become the scam authorities. They're just there to tell you their opinion, their thing. The authorities' job is very easy as long as they convince you that they can be trusted. Don't trust anyone. Let the authorities fall. And see you guys next time.